Hello, welcome to Rock Reacts. My name is Simon. This man right here is...
Tom Denton.
Right, today we are going flying forward with Trippie Redd.
Yeah.
And taking a walk, which I like to do. Always nice to take a walk, clear your head, and get those cobwebs out of your brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe that's what the song's all about. It's taking a nice walk.
Off his new album that came out a couple of weeks ago.
Life's a Trip. Time of recording came out last Friday.
Friday, wow.
Brilliant,
Wow.
brilliant cover art, isn't it? You can't see it, unfortunately. Really cool cover art. It's kind of like Dali-esque, but with him. I've heard it's a good album. He's an interesting artist, Trippie Redd.
Remind me of...
He did that track with Travis Scott, The Dark Knight Demo.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was kind of cool.
It was kind of cool.
And then
yeah,
I've heard a couple of other bits here and there. He did one on... Sorry, he did a track with X that we covered on the first ever session, the Fuck Love one.
That's right. Yeah.
And then I heard the track that he did with Diplo, which is quite good. So also quite good. But
it clearly hasn't resonated with me too much because I can't get until you did that lovely rendition for me. I can't remember anything.
Yeah.
So
we've not done much of his. I know he did the track with 6ix9ine as well.
Yes, I remember that one. Yeah. So I'm going to put this one on my. This is it. This is Trippie Redd's time to try and smash my face with glory.
The fucking things you say. Yeah, I know he's got a whole record out. There's shitloads of tracks, but this is the one that he dropped that also either has a video or has its own thing. It's the single, maybe, whatever. I don't know. This is the one we're doing, alright?
It's doing well. People are talking about it. It's got some traction on the old internet there. So yeah, Trippie Redd taking a walk.
Yeah, if it's the wrong one, we're sorry, but whatever.
We'll do another one.
No, yeah. There's the cover art.
Kind of cool, kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Got a unicorn with beef on him. Yep, there's a steak.
So they think I wanna die, yeah, cause my dose is suicide. Yeah.
So much like X.
Yeah.
It's just in a good way. I mean, in a positive, respectful way.
It's like a subgenre, isn't it?
That's
whatever
what
that
it
is, whatever you want to
call it.
But
I like it.
I do.
like this. It's that weird. It's almost right. Do you remember the guy from Blink 182, the guitarist? I can't remember his name.
I know what you mean.
But he always used to go when he talked. To go, how are?
Yeah.
I didn't like that. He used to wind up being like, yeah, don't like it. But when there's that kind of same intonation with the words. I like it in this.
Yeah.
There's something about it, about the delivery, especially when they're doing sad stuff. But this sounds a bit more on the emotional side. I think it really works. I don't know why.
It does. I think I would call this. It's like grunge.
Oh, it's definitely grunge.
Rap.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It really, really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my coffin would be nice. Yeah, stir that bitch up with some ice. Yeah, these people don't want me alive. No, doors no suicide. Said I hope you got my no, bitch. Hey, I left it on the suicide note, bitch. Yeah, and you left it on the floor, bitch. Pussy nigga talking shit, but he ain't no shit. She get little ass.
Sorry. One thing I've noticed with this genre of music, I think, subgenre music, whatever we were just talking about, musically, I think it's very accomplished production-wise. There's clearly, obviously, the barrier for entry to produce great tracks in terms of the software and hardware that you need is much lower these days, which is why
you're doing your home
so much.
Exactly.
I really like the way this sounds. I think a lot of these artists lyrically aren't quite. I love the fact that they're open and honest and raw, but I don't think a lot of them are playing with the similes and metaphors that perhaps I, as a grunge / singer-songwriter from the 90s fan and Elliott Smith fan, for example.
Yeah, they're not as accomplished as those guys.
And they're also fucking so young, so I'm not even stating... It's not even a negative thing. I just hope I hope we get some of these guys really delving into that and expanding their writing to start talking in simile and metaphor as well as being raw and open. Because if you listen to Elliott Smith, a lot of his music is simmering. I'm not really similar in vibe to this, but certainly it's open, raw and emotional music, but it takes time to listen to. There's lyrics to interpret. For every 3 lines that might be on the nose and kind of to the point, there'll be a metaphor or a simile. And it's something a little more poetic. And I think when you're talking a Trippie Redd, from what I've heard, even X, a Post Malone who's obviously a bigger style and a similar style, I think all of these artists could benefit from really delving into even the Kurt Cobains and just listening to that.
I think I think
that I love the raw on the nose stuff, but I'd love a bit more. Look at his cover art. I would love the lyrics of that rather than the lyrics of what he's singing, even if the subject matter is exactly the same.
I agree with you. I would also say that I think that will happen, and I think in retrospect and hindsight, this stuff will mean even more because you can actually see the evolution and the progress that they've made. I like it like this at the moment. I agree with you. I think that would be better. Better's wrong, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
What I like about this is it's so rare to find people that are that young, having this kind of success and making this kind of music, that will literally say, I'm not saying this, but as an example, the man walked his dog. That's what these lyrics are, right? This is exactly how I feel. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm just going to throw it at your face. And I find that really refreshing and new, because a lot of what, especially in metal and rock, we've grown up with is not. Do you know what I mean? You try and paint more of a picture rather than say the man walked his dog, and that's why I like this kind of stuff, because it comes across as different and interesting to me. That kids this young are happy with putting themselves out there to the point they are, especially in a culture. And I don't just mean in a hip hop culture. I mean in a music culture everywhere, where the idea of the big rock star is a cool. I don't have any feelings. But they don't go the opposite way. Go, no, this was shit. That crap. That hurt and that, I actually get a lot from that. But I agree. If they can evolve and progress and get to the point where they're doing that and creating being more poets and painting a different kind of sort of scene, I think that would be interesting.
Absolutely. And another thing you just made me think of there. My only concern, I'm not talking about Trippie Redd here or this song specifically, but going back to Denzel's Kurt Cobain video about how suicide and those sort of depression and everything like that is kind of also being now sold as a commodity for a certain genre. I do worry about artists falling into that trap too. I'm not specifically talking about this artist or this song.
Just in general, it can happen, right? It can happen.
So, as that... Because obviously a lot of X's music was about that, and that's become something that people have latched onto, understandably troubled, angsty younger people. So that's just something that is the thought that just popped into my head based on that Denzel Curry song, which wasn't just about that; it was about all sorts of things.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree. I think that's fair, and I think that's almost probably an interesting way to look at the genre as a whole, of this subgenre, whatever you want to call it. That's where it is at the moment. In 2018, that is what they're doing. Yeah. So who knows where it's going to be 19, 20, 22, It could change. It really, really could.
Yeah. And one more, super quick, before we get back to the song. We are hearing these artists way earlier than traditionally you'd hear artists. Certainly, like you'd normally hear people, there'd be this many demos in, and then you'd hear their first project, and you wouldn't ever hear that, especially before the internet. Yeah. And then, it's gone back, and now we're hearing people getting signed, pretty much, and having, major label debuts, probably way before they ever really traditionally would.
Yeah, before they peaked, basically. Yeah. So you get to experience their whole journey.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
That's why the second album is already really hard, because usually the first album is a fucking banger. Yeah. And that's why it's really difficult to follow up. Whereas this, we're on the journey with them. Yeah, where they're going to go, they're going to survive. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just don't know.
Nigga, man, you boneless. Yeah, I keep my ratchet boy, you Polish way. Throwing bands tonight, so die. Yeah, cause my dose is suicide. Yeah, bet my coffin would be nice. Yeah, stay that bitch up with some ice. Yeah, these people don't want me alive. No, they wanna play.
I will say, all of them are really aware, really self-aware.
Yeah, they are.
Singing about death in such a acceptable way is quite mature in many ways. I mean, I don't have a proper chat with them to find out, but I mean that lyric that "bet my coffin would be nice."
That's a great lyric.
It shows a certain understanding of life without wanting to sound too hippie trippy, but it does.
And also, being self-aware enough to be interested in the flash, the show, the clout, the bling, for whatever words you want to use it. But also be understanding the other side of it and being open and honest about being the more human elements as well.
And no matter what you do, we all really
because that's where it differs. That's where it differs from grunge, because grunge was very much aesthetically grungy, grubby. The flannel shirts, the absolute, it was
lyrically as well. It was proper,
Whereas a lot of these artists will dress and show them. I mean, him with the hair and the gimmick and everything like that, but the chains and everything, and
he lives a certain lifestyle.
There's videos of him on Instagram with money and things like that. But that's real.
It's a juxtaposition. I hate that word, but it's true. But that's what makes it so fascinating, and why. Yeah, I don't necessarily think this Taking a Walk, the song, is one of the best I've heard within this genre so far. It's good, and I'm enjoying it. But I think the conversation that it triggers and that it sparks is far more interesting.
Absolutely, and I think it's great that a 2-minute. I don't know where he came from, Trippie, but I'm going to say SoundCloud rapper just because it's easy to say that, and forgive me. You know what I mean by that.
It's a term.
The fact that can provoke this sort of discussion, I don't think there's many people our age or from rock music that would ever even think that, and probably would hear that and hear his voice one time and would ignore it. But in actual fact, that's what it's. We talk about opening your ears and opening your mind a little bit and seeing what's out there. And this is, right in the bleeding edge of where sort of culture is musically right now. A guy
that's
like
the thing, is tapping into something at the moment, and that's why they're all getting so popular. I don't know how they do it, I don't know what their approach is, but they're doing it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
Yeah, right, let's finish off the track.
Oh, the coupe doors are suicide. Oh, the coupe doors are suicide. Oh.
There's an artist there called Young Tory, which is not something you want to be called in England.
So it's called Don't Get DJF. What's that? Don't give a fuck. Of course it does. That was interesting. Again, like all of those guys, very, very interesting. I think we kind of touched on most of it during the track itself. But yeah, of its time, in a good way, without a doubt. And I've been intrigued to see what else he does as time progresses, as they say. Loads of stuff down here. Twitter, Instagram. Come follow John, follow me, follow Rock Reacts. Keep the conversation going even away from the videos. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below, and of course we'll be flying back your way as soon as we can. As always.
And we'll catch you on the next one. I'm going to do a Trippie Redd impression. La. Any good?
Yeah, a bit like a lion as well, but that's good. Everyone likes lions. They're big attractions at zoos.
Yeah.